As far as the history is concerned, as far as the history is concerned, I am going to divide the historical phases, the whole history of sports psychology into small phases. Okay, but basically, I will be for you to understand because that will help you to remember even for your competitive exams and various other examinations and in your professional career also it will help you out. Basically, I'll be dividing into two: before the Second World War and after the Second World War. Okay, so let me start with the before the World War, Second World War. Yeah, before the Second World War, I'm dividing into two phases. Okay, and along with the two phases, as Moa had just said about the father of sports psychology, so it makes relevant for me to refer two parts of the world. When I talk about the development of sports psychology, especially before the Second World War, in the initial phase, that is specifically it started in the early 20th century and late 19th century. This development actually independently happened at two different parts of the world. One is North America, which includes of US and Canada, and the other is of Europe. Okay, so whenever you read the history of psychology, just check it out. Who is the author of it? Who is the publisher of it? So whenever you uh, get literature of America, you will find lot of references like Griffith, Coleman Griffith as father of sports psychology. But we need to understand, yes, Coleman Griffith is referred as father of sports psychology in North America. But when we talk about the European context, when we talk the when we talk about the development of sports psychology from the European context, Perry de Coubertin, whom everyone knows and have heard about it, the initial president of the person who had the biggest role in developing the modern Olympics in 1996. He was a president also till 1925. He also referred as psychology in European context. So if you come across two concepts, don't get confused. Don't start seeing which is right and which is wrong. Both are correct in its context. There has been in a lot of literature says which says that there has been a connect and transfer of knowledge from Europe to North America and America to Europe. But there are a lot of research which say it has this development has held independently. Dear students, as far as psychology is concerned, Wilhelm Wundt, the father of psychology, actually it started in Germany and it had American scholars studying in Germany, particularly in Leipzig. From Germany, they went back to America. They promoted the development of psychology as a discipline. But when it comes to sports psychology, when it comes to sports psychology, lot of development did take place in America, which is available for readers to read and understand. But it does not demean the development of sports psychology as a discipline in Europe. But literatures are rare because the major issue maybe of the language, because Russia, Germany, and various other nations have done a lot in the initial phase itself, but maybe of the language, the it could not have been circulated across the world. And secondly, because of the political scenarios in those countries, wherein you might have read about in other sports literatures, a lot of sports development and in terms of sports training has taken place in in uh, Eastern Germany, in Russia, in various other parts of Europe, which was not available on the public domain. Yeah. So in this way, a lot of information are not available to the public domain. But still, you need to understand. We need to read it into two different contexts. Yeah. Okay, so as far as the pre World War II is concerned, from Northern America, the first clear example of sports psychology was reflected by Norman Triplet. That too in, as I said, it is the late 19th century, 1897. Norman Triplet was the first person who initiated such a work, and he was a cyclist, and he was a person who, it's very interesting to listen what he did at that time. Today it may not have much importance, but at that point of time, we're talking about 1897, it was something new. Especially his research on social facilitation was wonderful. What he observed and concluded was, the as because he was also belonging to the cyclist community, he saw that when cyclists do the competition or do the cycling alone, their timing their timing differs if they compete, if they do the same stride, if they do the same performance along with the competitors. So he concluded that the availability of the competitors, the quality of the competitors does influence the performance of the cyclist. So that was social facilitation. That doing it alone and doing it in a group, it matters. The performance matters and influences a lot. So this work was done in 1897, but many of the people ask that then why he is not referred as the father of sports psychology, especially in North America. The only thing is that uh, Norman Triplet and there are a lot of other people who did a lot of work, but they were a long research, uh, research in a controlled condition was not initiated. These were mostly based on observations and not on experimentations. But slowly, this is the early 20th century period. And at the same time, in Europe, independently, without being influenced by the Americans, Parody Coubertin, who initiated the rebirth of Olympics, referred as modern Olympics, 1896, he twice emphasized and focused on importance of the term sports psychology. First, in the 1897, the first Olympic Congress, which was held in France, because you know that in 1900, the 1896 Athens Olympics was held, and in 1900 it was in Paris. So 3 years before, Olympic Congress was held, and sports psychology was emphasized upon. But after 15 years, in fact 16 years, 1913, the in another Olympic Congress in Lausanne, Switzerland, two research papers were presented during the Olympic Congress. And Verity Coubertin has referred this 1913 as the birth of sports psychology in Europe. So this was one of the early 20th century development which took place in two different parts of the world. So you can note down some important aspects out of it. That the first to do an experiment and research was Norman Triplet, 1897. But parallelly, when it comes in Northern America, this is in reference to Northern America, but in reference to Europe, Barody Coubertin had a very important role where he emphasized on the term sports psychology in two different congresses. Olympic Congress, that is in 1897, and which was held in France, and second in 1914. Now, let's move on to the second phase, which was again before the World War II. That is in Northern America, it is referred as the Griffith era. Griffith era, because before that, whether it was a work of Norman Triplett, whether it was a contribution of Barody Coubertin to introduce sports psychology, much of the experiments were not available. But Griffith, Coleman Griffith, he was working in University of Illinois. In 1925, he was the first person to establish a laboratory of sports psychology laboratory in the university, wherein establishing a laboratory means he started experimenting. He starting he started a study on the various aspects of sports psychology. So that is why, due to his contribution to start a laboratory, initiate a laboratory at University of Illinois in 1925, and between 1921 to 31, he has published 25 research papers published. There were a lot of people who might have done research. Norman Trippett also did it. But experimenting and getting it published was a big contribution of Coleman Griffith. Due to this, he is referred as father of sports psychology in North America. So, students, whenever you read father of sports psychology, it is not father of sports psychology, it's father of sports psychology in North America is Norman Coleman Griffith. And if you talk about, if the father of sports psychology in North America is Coleman Griffith, the father of sports psychology in Europe, the credit is given to Barody Coubertin. Yeah. And but 1925, when the lab was established in North America, that doesn't mean nothing was happening in Europe. See, parallelly, even there are references which says in even when Griffith Coleman Griffith was developing his and setting up his laboratory at University of Illinois in the same year, a sports psychology lab was set in the psychology department of State Central Institute of Physical Culture in Russia. And physical culture is the term which was commonly used for physical education. As physical education is used as a term in India, Department of Kinesiology is used as a reference for physical education in US for a quite long time, and in Russia it's always referred as Department of Physical Culture. Yeah, so this is again a very important point for you to remember, that physical culture refers to the physical education in Russia. So these were two scenarios how we can see in a pre-World War.